On today's retro spot, we're going to be looking at the Batman Mask of the Phantasm, the animated movie, and we're going to be looking at the Phantasm himself. I went for a dramatic pause there because there's an interesting story behind this behind this particular figure. Kenner, in their infinite wisdom, said to themselves, "Well, hey, we've got this movie coming out, Mask of the Phantasm, the animated movie, and the entire movie, aside from Bruce Wayne's backstory, the whole point of the entire movie is who is the Phantasm." Who is it? Who is this mysterious figure that is hunting down all these mob members? And the big reveal happened at the end of the movie, and I won't spoil it. But Kenner, in their infinite wisdom, said, "Hey guys, there's this big spoiler at the end of the movie. How about," and this is a great idea, how about guys, instead of packaging the Phantasm with the hood on, we'll package it with the hood off so that everybody can see who the Phantasm is. That is smart. That is smart. I'm sure much stupider toy companies would say, "Hey guys, let's just put the mask on him, and so that no one will know who the Phantasm is unless you buy the toy." No, not Kenner though. Kenner were smart. They just said, "Hey, we're just going to completely spoil the movie. And we're going to show you who the Phantasm is." And the funny story is when I was younger and I went to the States, I went with my family. I hadn't actually seen the movie yet, but I knew the movie was in the theaters, and I don't really think I was going to ever be able to see it in the theater, so I was just going to wait for it to come out on VHS. I went to a toy store in the States, and I'm looking through the pegs, and I saw these Masks of the Phantasm figures, and I thought, "Oh, that's fantastic." Looking through all the pegged figures, and I come across this, and if you could see the look that was on a child's face when they found out who the Phantasm was and that they were spoiled by it, priceless. That was a MasterCard moment, or was it Visa? That was I don't understand the logic, as you can see, as seen in Batman the Animated Movie. Features chopping arm action. On the back of the packaging, interesting. I mean, it's not really necessarily all the figures from the Mask of the Phantasm. I mean, the Mask of the Phantasm figures were like Jetpack Joker. We had the Phantasm here. There was, doesn't really feature it on here, but there was a retro Batman. And I think there was another figure as well. There was about 4 or 5 figures in the wave. Now, what they've ultimately done, though, is they've packaged the figures along with other figures out at the time. So, I mean, you still have the animated figures, like the Batplane as well, the Jokermobile, the original Batmobile. They're all included, even though technically the packaging is really from the Batman the Animated Series Phantasm line. Needless to say, though, I mean, that's Kenner's decision. What we're going to do is going to open this up. And actually, I'm not going to open this particular figure up. I have another Phantasm, and there's something not quite right with the figure, but you'll see it when I show you that figure. But what we'll do is we'll look at the figure loose. So stay tuned, guys. There's so much more on the way. Now, aside from the fact I've added the accessories to this character, this is the way he should have been packaged, or in this case, she should have been packaged. Why, again, did they actually opt to have the mask completely removed? Kenner. Now, I mentioned that I wasn't going to open the other Phantasm. I already had one that I was going to open up. The reason why I decided to open this particular Phantasm, I think you can see here, is that she's got this weird orange kind of black on her shoulders. And while I thought it was really a defect that was only on the shoulder area of the Phantasm, if I turn it around, she's got this this discoloration on the back of her cowl or her hood here. Now I don't know if the plastic has been burned accidentally at some point that it's discolored like this. I don't know if it was actually accidentally mispainted. But I mean, definitely, if I bring in the package that I was in the beginning of this review, you'll see that obviously I decided to go with the right choice of getting this one opened, and I'll keep this one still on card. Really, aside from the fact that discoloration, it is just the same figure. Now, her accessories, she includes the infamous bladed gauntlet that she had in the movie. It was only on the one hand, but it was a very nice touch that they gave her this. She also does include a gun, which I like a smoke gun, I guess, because the Phantasm kind of just appears out of nowhere and disappears. So I guess this is what this is. I'm trying to remember if she actually even uses a gun in the movie. I think she really just uses her blade. A nice little fan nod, aside from the Mask of the Phantasm animated movie, the Phantasm also made a brief cameo in the Justice League Unlimited episode Epilogue, where I believe Terry McGinnis was going to meet his demise at the hands of the Phantasm, and you kind of just see a Phantasm on the off screen as he's walking away, and the Phantasm I think ultimately didn't kill him. But it was a nice little fan nod that they include the Phantasm in the animated series, or the Unlimited series episode. But the helmet, as you saw in the packaging, can come off. And what we've got, first of all, it's a shame that they gave her a black cape instead of a gray cape that would have continued on the look of the Phantasm. But yeah, they instead gave her a black cape. It really just looks like Batman's cape from the other figures, and then they just stuck the plastic mask over top of it. But she does come with that. The figure is very... It definitely has a 90s feel for it. I mean, between the pre-sculpted legs, kind of in a bent position, very small in size, very disproportionate. The head, the hands, everything really is very basic to the figure. Even the face, very basic. The hand is the arm is loose, but it's only to give you that karate chop action. If you had her gauntlet on there. I mean, there's not a lot to it. You kind of have to look past the fact that the figures are very basic in design, just for how old they've been released, how long ago they came out. So far, the only Phantasm figure released. I would love to see Matty Collector and Mattel re-release a Phantasm from the Justice League Unlimited line. I mean, while she not necessarily was in Justice League Unlimited, except for the one episode, the fact that they've given us a Bane, a Clock King, a Harlequin, and a Scarecrow from the Gotham Knights animated series, it would have been nice as well just to kind of give us a fan nod and give us a updated Phantasm. It doesn't necessarily have to have a removable mask, but it would be nice that we were to get a more of an updated size. Just because if I was to bring in, like, for example, Batman here from the animated line, you'll see that the Phantasm looks very silly next to him. And I would completely opt to have just straight legs, straight arms, and then the mask. But if this is unfortunately the only figure, or the only way that we're ever going to get a Phantasm, then unfortunately this is the only way we're ever going to get this Phantasm. But yes, it could be so much greater, and I'm still really disappointed in the fact that they had to have her unmasked in the package. But that aside, a mediocre figure. Definitely a 90s action figure. that was a toy spot on the Mask of the Phantasm, and that was the Phantasm figure herself. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Many more toy spots to come, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.